is the song, even though it's not the title says the cheat sheet for reading. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's all right. Say You Won't Let Go. According to Tina Facebook, the Saturday Night Live has a motto: you don't go on because you're ready, you go on because it's time. So I'm ready musically, but it is time to get this thing done because people will be hitting the archives in about 2.5 hours looking for this lesson, and I don't want them to know that it didn't happen live. So here we go. Here's our song. We don't have a pre-roll or anything. It's just the song. So, all right. I'll watch this chat, and Mark or anybody else who wants to chip in can.
I met you in the dark. You lit me up. You made me feel as though I was alone. We danced the night away. We drank too much. I held your hair back when you were throwing up. Then you smiled over your shoulder. For a minute I was stone cold sober. I pulled you closer to my chest. And you asked me to stay over. I said I already told you. I think that you should get some rest. I knew I loved you then, but you never know. 'Cause I played it cool when I was scared of letting go. I knew I needed you, but I never showed. But I wanna stay with you until we're grown old. Just say you won't let go. Just say you won't let go. I'll wake you up with some breakfast in bed. I'll bring you coffee with a kiss on your head. I'll take the kids to school, wave them goodbye. And I'll thank my lucky stars for that night.
And it's gonna repeat like that a whole lot. That is the entire song. I kept waiting for the bridge or something to change, and that's it. There's 4 chords here that you need to learn, and let's jump into those. The speed of those 4 chords is 95 beats per minute, so if you are using your metronome, and actually, hey, Mark, you're here. Maybe we'll just have our own private lesson here. So if you're watching this in the archives, then we had all kinds of broadcast issues earlier, which is why the title down there says Lesson 400, the cheat sheet for reading, which was a different lesson. So, but hopefully by now you understand that we're doing the cover of a song because I just was playing the cover of a song. You were looking for, Mark, you were looking for an app though, and the metronome app, I get asked about this one all the time. It's the number 1 right there. It's just a black box with a 1, and it says on it, when I go to, I've looked at this enough times that I was, visual metronome, right there. Visual metronome, you are unable to see that because it is not focusing on that. Visual metronome, version 3.01, www.onemoremuse.com. ONEMOREMUSE.com. And it was like $1.99 when I bought it, and I get asked which one it is all the time because the sound on this is surprisingly unannoying. But it's just the one that I stumbled on and happened to use, and I don't go shopping for metronomes a whole lot. But it sounds something like this. And that noise to me is, well, not soothing, but not horrible. So anyway, if you set your metronome to 95, then it would sound something like this. And that's the pace of the song. So the way that you can use your metronome is by setting the number to something much lower than 95, say 60. And the numbers are the same across all metronomes. So no matter what metronome you have, if you set it to 60, that's going to be 60 beats per minute, which means 1 beat every second. I think the math on that is right. So then that's going to be the same for every metronome and hopefully every clock and watch everywhere. They are all ticking at 60 beats per minute. So the 95 beats per minute is going to be slightly faster than what a clock would be, 1 beat per second. So they're all going to be standard. They're all going to be the same. 95 on my metronome is the same as 95 on your metronome. So here's 60 beats per minute. Maybe you need to start out slower than 60, whatever. Find the number. There's no number that is too low, and the hardest part of a song is always playing it at any slow, consistent speed. Everybody thinks that playing fast is the hardest part. The hardest part is definitely playing consistently, making transitions. You know, even if you're down at like 40 or 30 beats per minute, just trying to get that first chord, 2, 3, 4, 1. Getting that next one right on beat 1 instead of having a little gap in between. Once you can do that pretty much at any speed, then speeding that up is no problem at all. You just go in small increments of like 5 or 10. And I've seen students, take weeks on a song to get it at 50 beats per minute, and it's just, for them, painfully slow. Not for me, because I see it all day long, but just painfully slow for them. And then they'll go from 50 beats per minute to 200 beats per minute in a couple days after that. But getting that first slow speed is always the toughest part. So anyway, that's what that little marking is about right there. And then each of these chords is listed on this next page. Now, if you are in Clopple Academy and you're learning how to read sheet music, or if you've taken lessons before, then this might be helpful to you. That's just B flat, D, and F, the way that all the B flats, Ds, and Fs look like on sheet music. So those are all your note options. And right here is the graph. This is the way it looks in my brain. B flat, D, and F right there. So you just want to play those all at the same time. A B flat, a D, and an F. And they can be in any order. So it can be a B flat and a D and an F, or it can be a B flat and a D and an F, or it can be a B flat and a D and an F. It can be in any order, B flats, Ds, and Fs. As long as you play B flats, Ds, and Fs during the B flat chord sections, that's 4 beats. That is the B flat section. That's that bad boy right there. Then you'll be set. You'll be fine. That's all I was doing when I was playing, was B flats, Ds, and Fs during that section. And then the F chord is right here for that 4 beats. So the F chord is going to be Fs and As and Cs. So again, the hardest part is the transition at any tempo. Here's 60 beats per minute. Getting B flats, Ds, and Fs. The transition to F-A-C. 3, 4. B flat. 2, 3, 4. F. 2, 3. Maybe adding in a B flat down here. B flat. 2, 3, 4. F. 2, 3. Here's a different type of B flat. B flat. The same letters, just in a different order. To an F. F-A-C. 3, 4, 1. So that's the way you're going to practice this thing, and then speed it up from there once you have that transition down. The step that I just took, it's totally reasonable if that takes you a week to get that thing down, depending on how much you practice, really, I guess. But it could be hours of practice just working to get from a B flat to an F to a B flat to an F. Here's the good news. There's only 24 chords total, right? But if you're just counting major and minor chords, pretty much every song that we've done has only used a grand total of 24 chords in all the songs. So once you learn B flat to F, that B flat to F is going to show up in a trillion more songs that we're that's too much. That was exaggerating. In 100 more songs, in a couple hundred more songs that we're going to work on. So that all that work that you're putting in is not for this particular song. It's for the B flat to F transitions. So B flat to F, G minor is just going to be G and B flat and D. So those 3 right there. And again, you can put those in any order you want. I'd recommend you put the name of the chord in your left hand. So on a G minor, you want to put a G in your left hand. Probably not a lot else. During an E flat chord, even though your right hand is going to be playing all kinds of different variations of E flat, B flat, and G, your left hand probably wants to just play the E flat right there, not play the G's and the B's nearly as much. All this sounds perfectly fine for a E flat chord. So that's what I was playing when I was playing along with Dude Man, James Arthur. By the way, for the people who had questions in the private chat for today's lesson, when we didn't do today's lesson, I don't know what's going on with that, but that was a unique experience. So had a request for a different song by James Arthur. So we'll see if we get very many more votes for other James Arthur songs. We could do that. And then the other one was, I should probably do this in question and answer time. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's a much better idea. Because if you put the question in the private chat earlier during the lesson that didn't happen, I'm guessing you're just going to fast forward to the question and answer time and see if I answer your question. Yeah, now's a terrible time for it. So what I was doing is B flat, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G minor, 2, 3, 4, E flat, 2, 3, 4, B flat. Again, my left hand is just playing the name of the chord. F, G, E flat, B flat with a B flat chord, F with an F chord, G minor with a G minor chord, E flat. And the counting is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I knew I loved you then, but you'd never know. 'Cause I played it cool and I was scared of letting go.
So there we go. That's going to be, again, the whole entire song. Your play-along track is, I can't play it for you because it's on the old computer and not on the new streaming computer, but we'll get that worked out. It's just that set 8 times through. But if you can play it at 95 beats per minute, I wouldn't play along with my stupid MP3 track. I'd go ahead and look up James Arthur, Say You Won't Let Go on the internet and then just play along with that. But I know I get complaints every time I don't give you guys an MP3 to go along with the lesson. So you have it. It is this thing, but you can ignore all of that because it's just this thing 8 times. So that's the way, at least it works in my head. So you got your chords right there. And then over here, we've got the game of the day, which some of you love and some of you hate. If you hate what we're about to do and you already know what we're going to do, then just show up for tomorrow's intermediate lesson, download the PDF. You don't have to watch the video, and I will give you all the correct answers. But here are all the note options of what the melody could be. The melody is the part that you would sing along with. So at the very beginning of this thing, there's nothing to sing along with. It's just guitar. And then once we get going, it's going to be one of these 7 notes here listed. Now that one right there is something you can sing along with. It's either going to be da-dum right there. The words are I met, and when you're singing I met, it's either going to be a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, or a 7, then you're back to 1 again. So I already know which one it is, but I'm going to pretend that I don't. So it could either be that one, or 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 that one. The other notes are not going to be used in this song, so we're not going to use that one, we're not going to use that one, we're not going to use that one, or that one, or that one. So that is the key of B flat. If you're in Clapple Academy, I believe level 2, might be 3, is practicing the B flat major scale, then you already are familiar with what that means. It just means that you're using this set of notes here. B flat is the most important one. That's why it gets number 1 right there. And so you'd sing along with the song, and then you would try to find the one that matches the note that you're singing. So in this case, I met, sounds like it's the same note twice in a row. I met, and then you would play a note and try to see if what you're singing matches up with I met, no, I met, no, I met, no, I met, no, I met. Hey, that sounds like it might be it. Since we think it might be this note, which is a 5 according to our chart, then we would go down to here and we'd write in, pencil in, I met, and then we go back to the beginning of the song and we try to play along and sing the notes that we've guessed so far. 1, 2, ready, and
I met you in the dark.
sounds pretty good. Now, what most people are going to do next is try to get you in the dark, because that's the rest of the phrase. That's a terrible mistake. In most cases, you're not going to be able to get the whole phrase. You just want to go 1, maybe 2 notes at a time. I met you. This one right here. I met, sounds like it goes down. I met you. So I'm not going to guess any of the notes that are up above the one I was just playing. So I could guess this one, or 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 this one. These are all on the charts. Now, this sounds like it's probably not jumping that far. I met you. I met you. It's too far down. So I'm going to guess some note that's like maybe in this cluster right here. So let's try the next one down. In most cases, the note jumps not as far as you think that it is jumping. So most people guess way too far. So they would guess like from here, I met you. It's just not that far away. So try to guess just the next note over. In this case, it would be this one right here. So we try to sing and play at the same time. I met you. That sounds horrible. I met you. Not just my voice, but my voice with the piano together. I met you. Nah, that's not it. So let's try the next one. It's this guy right here. I met you. I met you. Sounds like it might be it. Let's try that. I'm going to put a 3 in right there. And then we'll try it again with the track. And here we go.
I met you in the dark.
Sounds pretty good. Now, at the beginning, it will take that long or longer to get the few notes. But once you've done a few of these songs, it'll start getting much, much faster. So it could take a week or more to get through, a verse and maybe a chorus too. Also, you can write in your numbers. Some of you are already doing this. Send me a picture or a scan of the music after you've written this stuff in, and I'll grade it for you and give you the notes back, and that can help too to know whether you're getting these numbers right or not. But for the vast majority of you, when I give you the first couple notes, you're able to get a good 60 to 70% of the notes that you guess at within your first 2 or 3 tries. And that's awesome. The goal is, I haven't actually played this melody through. The goal is eventually to get this good at it, to be able to hear the note and know just what number it is. Like at the beginning, bum bum, that sounds like a 5 to me, just because it sounds like a 5. The same way that the color blue looks like blue. It just has that quality of sounding like a 5. Bum, 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 bum. Like these are all, each of the numbers sounds like the number to me, which is not a skill that I possess by any great birthright or anything. There are people who do have perfect pitch, and that is not me. But I can hear the numbers, and like as he's singing, it sounds like a position in the scale to me, and so I can play it. So something like this.
You made me feel as though I wasn't known. We danced the night away. We drank too much. I held your hair back when you were throwing up. Then you smiled over your shoulder. For a minute I was stone cold sober.
I haven't actually played this song before, but that's about how fast I can pick out the notes, like almost in real time, to be able to like hear it and then just play it back. So again, that's just from practicing this stuff. I may have at this point done thousands or tens of thousands of songs. Start out small. Just get that one next note. So even if you hate this game, maybe just try to get in. Just figure out what in is and send it over, and I'll tell you if you got it right or not. Or just show up and steal the PDF tomorrow. There'll be almost all of the answers, and then on Wednesday's lesson, I actually fill in the whole entire thing and give you all of the answers. All right, so then this thing over here is what's called a lead sheet, and this is probably the most common way to get through most pop music. And if you go to a place like ultimateguitar.com or something like that, then you're going to be dealing with a lot of lead sheets and chord symbols there. So there we go. I just want to make sure that I've got an eye on the chat. Yeah. All right. Cool. So this is where the chords are lined up with the words that you would be singing as you play that chord. Now, in this song, in most of the chords are getting played not during words. So in most cases, it's chord bum ba da da ba dum, and then chord bum ba da bum, and then chord bum ba da bum bum ba da ba da bum. So there's a chord, and then there's singing, and then chord, and then singing. So it's not until you get like to this one right here that E flat actually gets lined up with a word. In most cases here, scared. Scared also goes with the E flat. But in most cases, it's going to be chord, and then a line of music, and then chord, and then a line of music. So that means that this is probably a good song to start practicing some of the like left hand playing the chord, and then right hand playing the melody. So it would be something like... stuff like that, because you can think about the left hand and then think about the right hand and then think about the left hand and then think about the right hand. You don't have to do both of them at the same time, almost through the whole entire song. So that's all of that, and that is the last page. And we survived this semi broadcast, I guess. What time? It was 10 o'clock here in California. Anyway. Let's get to, I guess, the question and answer time, where I answer questions that people asked earlier. So there was let me see if I can get to, I bet I can't. It's all funky now. I got to go redo all those shots, and hopefully they stay saved for tomorrow's broadcast. All right, so the question and answer time. Can we do other James Arthur songs? Absolutely. We do one song every other week, so it's just based on your requests. Usually if I get more than 3 or 4 requests for a song, then that's pretty much an automatic win. So I don't know, sign in as somebody else and request the same song 3 or 4 times, and we'll probably do it. And then the other one was about a B flat chord and why that's called a B flat chord instead of an A sharp chord. The reason is that each chord has to have one of each letter skipping a letter each time. So in other words, a B flat chord has a B flat, not a C, which would be the next letter over, and then a D, and then not the next letter over, which would be an E, but then the next letter after that. So it's letter, skip a letter, skip a letter. That's the naming of the notes. So this note right here, we'd call this one a B flat, no problem. Call that one a D, no problem. Call that one an F, no problem. If we call this one an A sharp, this chord right here almost never gets called A sharp, because if this one's an A sharp, that's not too much of a problem. The next note over has to be named something with, so this one was an A, so not a B, but the next one have to be named a C. Naming this thing a C is a major pain in the butt, because this is a C, and this is a C sharp, which means we'd have to call this one a C double sharp, which if you don't know any of the letters of the piano, that's perfectly fine, nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're familiar with the letters on the piano and you see this note and it's not called a D, then that is going to weird your brain out. So this thing being called a C double sharp is just unnecessarily confusing when it could just be called a D. Then likewise, that means the next note would have to be, so we were on a C double sharp. Then the next note, the letter that we're not allowed to use is a D, and the next letter after that would be an E. So we'd have to call this thing an E of some sort, and if you're familiar with the letters on the piano, this thing is an F, and calling it an E sharp is, again, just unnecessarily confusing. So the letters for an A sharp chord are A sharp, C double sharp, and E sharp, which is just weird as can be. So instead we call this a B flat, a D, and an F, and that's why you almost never see an A sharp chord. There are times, but probably the majority of them are in freshman college level music theory classes where they're just trying to weird your brain out, because that's what they do during that phase of your life. They just try to weird you out. But in real life, it's always called a B flat and not an A sharp, and that's why. And as could be predicted, there's no questions at this weird broadcast time. So if you do have questions, you're in the archives, then send those along, and as you know, I will get to those. And I don't have an outro really, but you do hopefully know that I love you, and that I'm wishing you some good luck, and more importantly, that you have fun. And I'll see you, and I guess I just cut off the broadcast like that. Maybe it'll be smoother tomorrow.